What's up, everybody? It's Jeremiah here, and today I'm giving you guys a brand new update on the Bloody Roar trademark. Konami Digital Entertainment has gotten a courtesy reminder for the trademark registration for this IP. Essentially, what this means is the registration that they did exactly 5 years ago, if y'all remember this blowing up, they don't follow up with this, the registration could be canceled. And I'm sure Konami does not want to go through that. This is actually common for trademarks that go through a 5 to 6 year time frame after being registered or renewed. Not, I can't confirm if the same thing works for a company that for sure already owns it, or if it's just for companies that register the IP as theirs. And the reason why I am emphasizing that is because the idea that people have when it comes to the Bloody Roar trademark situation is that Konami just renewed it and that they're just sitting on it, when that's not the case. Brief history lesson. Bloody Roar was owned by Hudson Soft. Okay? Up until 2012. 2012 was the year that Hudson Soft went defunct because Konami merged with them. However, if y'all look at this date, when Bloody Roar was registered under Konami Digital Entertainment, it was 2020, which is 8 years after Hudson Soft went defunct. And that basically means that Konami never owned Bloody Roar legally because it was still under Hudson Soft even though they were defunct. They had to go through a legal process to prove that they owned it as a result of merging with Hudson Soft. I hope that makes sense. I'm not going to repeat that. This is important because the Bloody Roar trademark to get canceled, why would they, just register it for it to get canned? It wouldn't make sense. They have until October 27, 2026, but the latest, the absolute latest that they can file for this is April 27, 2027. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that's pretty, close to the 30th anniversary for Bloody Roar. Bloody Roar's 30th anniversary is October 31st, 2027. April 27, 2027 is 6 months and 4 days prior to the 30th anniversary. So, for me, it's only a matter of time before Konami announces something. I have stated in the past that I believe that something is going to happen with Bloody Roar. I have stated in the past that Bloody Roar is going to return. I've said it since 2019. My opinion has not changed over the years. The most logical thing that Konami can do at this point, if it isn't a new game, is to release the most modern Bloody Roar game you can that isn't for Bloody Roar Primal Fury. Now, there's two different ways that they could make a definitive version for this game. One, you give it online and it's actually polished. However, Fang's still not in it, but it's cool because it has more replayability. You can play with other players online. The second thing they could do, they could take Fang. If you don't know who that is, he's from the Bloody Roar manga. He was a guest character in Bloody Roar Extreme, which is an updated version of Primal Fury. It came out in Japan, but Primal Fury came out in America first. So Extreme came out afterwards. Extreme has gameplay balances, updates, and has Fang as an additional character. However, Fang is actually in Primal Fury, but he's incomplete. So assuming that Aiding still has access to the code, they could take his data from Extreme and put it in Primal Fury and have him in Yugo slot like he was in Extreme. But then there's the Xbox version of Extreme, which came out in America in 2003 after the Japanese version of Extreme. Fang is actually in that, but he doesn't speak English. But it's cool because that just proves to me that they could still put Fang in, a re-release of Extreme in America if they don't go with Primal Fury and they just go with Extreme, since it's the most complete version of the game. However, if they do re-release Primal Fury instead of Extreme overall, then just give it online. Even if Fang's not in it, I could take that as a compromise / trade, because Fang isn't the only character that I play in Bloody Roar Primal Fury / Extreme. I consider them the same game, obviously Extreme being the patch essentially to Primal Fury. This makes the most sense as well, because not only is it the most modern and arguably polished Bloody Roar game, and the most technical, but it's also the most popular thanks to a certain fighting game event that y'all may know as Combo Breaker. You know, Bloody Roar was at Combo Breaker since 2022 as a main stage, and then I brought it back in 2023, 2024, and this year 2025. So it just makes sense because it is the most relevant one, at least in the US especially. However, I did consider the idea that they could re-release Bloody Roar Extreme in Japan if they re-release Primal Fury in America, but I feel like that's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't have to do that. And when it comes to Konami getting Gentosha Comics' permission to use Fang again in a re-release of Primal Fury and or Extreme, I feel like it's not going to cost anything. It's going to be chump change to them. Anyway, this was a fun little discussion video. Konami does not have enough. They don't have that much time left. Bloody Roar's comeback is imminent. And I'm going to keep saying it. Nobody else is going to say it, at least publicly. But I'm going to say it. If you rock with me, you don't. Excuse me, if you don't agree, that's fine. But I feel like most people that don't agree just comes from pessimism or ignorance. Hopefully the next update I have on Bloody Roar, you know, that isn't Combo Breaker related or online matches related is actually an official announcement. And, you know, it's something good that we all can celebrate, because despite how indifferent or, you know, however much disdain people may have for me, to the people that don't like me out there, we all want the same thing. You know, we all want it back. And, you know, for me, it's no different with the Crash Bandicoot series. I did videos on that series for 4 years. I've been doing videos on Bloody Roar for 9 years at this point. So nothing has changed. I'm still the optimist, the hopeful individual within the community for this whole thing. Take care, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.